shining too brightly for you.
Yes, please let the intro music roll.
We never do that. This is literally start.
Right, we talk over it.
It feels very natural.
This is episode 2 of Andor, the Star Wars Rewatch podcast. Yes, woohoo!
We're back.
That would be me.
I'm back.
Is the title of the episode.
According to apparently how Luca rates everybody, the A team is back in attendance.
There are no A teams. There's no B teams. There's just, hey, I need to record something, and these are the people that are in closest proximity to us.
That's basically what happens.
That's how we do it.
More or less. But hey, it's nice to see you again, A team.
Yeah, absolutely. Could you grab one of those? Those should be the agenda right there. Those
the syllabus. We're going to break out the syllabus again.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, we just rewatched episode 2 of Andor, and I already said the title. That Would Be Me is what it's called, which, I don't know, kind of weird, all things considered. But I'll let you guys get started on this. We already know your Star Wars credentials. We just need to discuss the episode. So volunteers, and who wants to do the recap?
Yeah, I'm trying to get better at summary since I get voluntold for summary all the time.
Okay, yes, you have 30 seconds.
Though.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah. I'm trying to improve, buddy. I appreciate that.
Thank you for letting me put my audible chocolate on the airwaves.
Yeah. So, the 30 seconds summary is Cass is still essentially trying to run away from said crimes and killing 2 low-key security guards. The police are still hot on his trail. The same guy who was told not to do anything continues to do something, except now he has a fun band of racist-seeming cops that are like ready to beat up the darkies. That are preparing this raid squad for where he is. He's still trying to sell that that data cube, the game cube as we were calling it. And Stellan, the seller, arrives. Stellan Skarsgård. He finally arrives, and his big, milky, juicy body. I love everything that he ever does. I love him so much. And the only other thing that kind of happens here is you get more flashbacks explaining what happened in, was it Kanari? Where that Imperial ship, there you go. That Imperial ship crashed, and big sis for Cass seems to get the big KO from an Imperial dude who wakes up. You see that in the flashback. And
spoiler alert.
That's about where you're literally listening to us talk about the episode.
Yes. Yeah.
Do you have to say spoiler alert? They're on like episode 8 already. Yeah. I think at this point, if you haven't watched it,
well, if you're listening to a recap of that episode, you should expect that episode to be talked about.
That as well.
True. Okay. So we got the summary out of the way.
And as usual, the visuals are beautiful.
Yeah.
It's gorgeous. The music is great, especially the ending scene there. The music that they use for the credits is just so fucking good. It sounds and it looks beautiful, as always. I feel like you got to say that up top, and then just expect it all the time, because that's how it always is.
Yeah, I agree.
Just even, the quick scene where they get to like where they're doing the mining, and you see this huge
quarry
strip mine.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys noticed, but there's like a machinery that has a gigantic saw.
Oh no, I didn't see that.
Yes,
there were 2 of them.
Sick.
There was a close up, and there was one way the hell off in the distance that you see too.
I wish they would have sat on that scene a little bit longer. I felt like all I watched was the ridge line, and it just looked like this big open quarry.
It still was really cool. That's kind of how the episode opens up. It's just the flashback to kind of that whole mining operation that's going on.
They do elaborate on that a little bit more in the episode too, which we could get into in a little bit. But again, I agree. They recently, after we watched the first episode, I had to show Sydney the intro bit to Rogue One, where I'm like, this is where this character is from. And I had to explain the timeline to her real quick.
Yep.
And then the opening shots of that like Imperial trading post or wherever he's at, again, they captured the look and the grit and the griminess of, A New Hope perfectly.
Yeah.
Because of how crowded everything looks and how uncomfortable everything looks for everyone. So hats off. You're never going to hear any complaints from anyone, I would think, about what the show looks like.
Absolutely.
Yep.
So
I'd love to hear some of the contrast, since we got Mike back, for talking about a little bit earlier before we started recording, comparing this to Kenobi.
Yeah. So I kind of missed the last couple episodes of recording with you guys on Kenobi, but that show is trash compared to this one already, I feel like. And I think some of the things go to, yes, like they had this Leia part that they were trying to incorporate, which I don't think they really needed to do in Kenobi.
It just didn't work.
The other thing too is like, I think they just blew their load, as far as like money wise on Ewan McGregor and
Hayden Christensen.
maybe even Hayden Christensen. But I don't even know how much they paid Hayden Christensen. Although Hayden Christensen probably could have asked for whatever he wanted.
Yeah,
to come back as Vader, because Vader's such an iconic character and stuff like that. So
I hope they paid him a ton.
I think they did that, which is why there were tarps that were holding people, like a blanket held back, and
like
stuff.
you're watching Aladdin, but it's Star Wars.
right. Tarps were like holding people back from chasing, people down and stuff like that. So
curtains, blinds,
yes,
shutters,
exactly.
Anything designed to block out the light.
Yes. So I think that's why. Stuff like that happened in Kenobi, whereas this one seems a lot more well thought out, a lot, more well written.
And intern didn't write it.
So far, just within like 2 episodes, and stuff like that. I do have to point out the droid. I do admit that Star Wars does have a thing where they always have, just some sort of cool droid, R2D2, BB-8,
B2EMO,
C3PO. Yeah, so the droid here, but I don't know if you caught this. It kind of sounds to me like TARS from Interstellar.
Okay.
Yeah. Listen to the voice again when the droid is talking. It almost reminds me of
I'm gonna write that down now.
Yeah, like TARS. Yeah. I don't know if the listeners that we do have.
I mean, us and, and my wife.
Our family have seen Interstellar. But it kind of sounds like TARS, which makes me like the droid even more a little bit, because
he's cute. He's funny. I like him. Like when he's allowed to talk. That scene with his Cass's adopted mom, and he's like, "Am I allowed to speak now?" Which is like, tell him what it says.
Well, not only that, but like they've given a droid, again, a machine that looks nothing like a human. At least C-3PO is like humanoid looking. R2D2 not, which is why they kind of made him beep boop and all that. But then this guy, they humanized him, or made you empathize with him a little bit, because when he talks with a stutter, which I think was like, again, an interesting choice, but also a good choice to make when you're fleshing him out as a character. Because R2D2, you know what R2D2's personality is like after, 9 movies. And same goes with C-3PO. You know what his personality is like. And now they're doing the same for, B2B. Yeah, they just call him B. Instead of B2EMO or whatever.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mouthful. B works.
Yeah, well, B2EMO. I love that.
The other thing, too, is like, R2D2 just makes a series of beeps and boops, and you kind of interpret. Perfect. Thank you.
Jesus, how long is this? Just 18 minutes of R2D2?
I know. I like how Luca tried to talk and then realized
couldn't have said it better myself, R2.
Yes, but this one speaks English. And it kind of sounds like TARS. And I really like it. I like the droid. But, Star Wars always has a good way of incorporating a droid somehow.
Mm-hmm. The droid, what is it? K2SO4 from Rogue One again.
Yeah.
The prequel or sequel to this show, technically.
Yeah.
The best character in the entire movie. So, with the exception of Vader, I guess you could say, even though he really doesn't say much.
Here we go.
But anyway, so
they're making it, the show we're talking about is a character from that movie. How the heck do you even say that? Jackass.
Yeah, that's because he's a fucking contrarian. He's a fucking contrarian. Even
we'll
for the
get
things
to that.
We'll
get to that.
I can't wait to then be angry with you. Just like I said last time, we're gonna watch fucking Mandalorian, and I'm just gonna want to throat punch you the whole goddamn time.
Season 3 coming out.
Mandalorian, really?
Can't wait. Can't fucking wait. Yep. Yeah, you're the only one that's over there angry in the corner because it didn't come out in time. Like, I don't understand your argument at all.
Okay.
Yes. Do you have anything you want to add? What you liked about the episode? Acting, characters, special effects, music.
Yeah. So the droid, I kind of already pointed out, the passionate bell banger.
Yes.
Me and AJ.
Yes, the cuckoo clock that they're paying a living wage to bang this big thing of steel. He really gets into it.
He does. But I kind of like seeing it. I kind of like seeing him.
Yes.
Bix.
It is now 3:00 as he adds to his arthritic pain in his shoulders. He doesn't have a pension.
Bix is the female character, right? Bix,
Yeah,
B-I-X.
help
One corner of the love
cube.
triangle here,
Yeah.
I guess you could say.
Yep.
Even though that's not obvious, it's definitely subtle. But
there was something where Cassian tried to like grab her hand, and she kind of like pulled it away.
In the first episode, I thought they were maybe brother sister, something like that, going to be tied into the flashbacks because it is. I feel you're right. It is subtle. It is.
Yep.
I really thought it was more of like that kind of thing.
They have more of a history than they have really kind of let on.
Yeah. And it feels complex. And that's a hell of a thing to convey in just like the dialogue that they have.
Yes. And then also Karn, I was telling you guys this. I just get like these very equilibrium kind of vibes from their whole setup and
Inspector Karn
operation and stuff like that. Yeah, because I mean, essentially, that's kind of what the Imperial Force is. They're trying to stop, people from feeling. Almost. Just get to work, do your job. We'll pay you a measly, credit.
It's very CCP, Chinese Communist Party to me. Like, just shut up and do it.
I was going to say,
yeah. And so these guys are kind of like the enforcers to stop. Almost similar. Like I just get this equilibrium vibe from that character. Karn.
AJ, would you like to describe or explain equilibrium to people who may or may not know?
I think if Mike's talking to that comparison, go ahead.
Yeah. So I guess for those who haven't seen that movie, I guess the best comparison would be like a Fahrenheit 451. It's a futuristic,
great comparison.
It's a futuristic
dystopian,
world where basically they get rid of art, music, everything like that, religion, anything
with a personality.
Anything that can cause reasons for war and stuff like that,
disagreement, conflict, anything like that.
Yep. Or just thinking out of the box, really. And in Equilibrium, they go and they literally burn
Mona Lisa.
Like all the books, and they find people that are not taking their medication and stuff like that. So Christian Bale is this leader of this elite
Tetragrammaton.
Yep. Yeah, Luca's email. So you should be describing this movie, not me.
I can.
But yeah, so it's this dystopia, but that's kind of the vibe that I get from, that's kind of what they're doing. He's
a way
wanting
less
to hunt.
cool version of that. Right. Karn is not a badass by any means.
Right. And so, yes, that was another thing I was going to touch on, where Karn is very, just uneasy about his moves and very rookie.
Yeah.
Even though he thinks it's important and stuff like that, like you definitely can tell.
The battle speech he gives there
is very
awful.
It's very weak. Compared to the other
the sergeant
that comes in.
But when you look at that guy, that's a fucking Ray Winston looking dude, the short, squat, British, well, not British, but Bulldog.
Yeah, well, that's what I wrote. I wrote that they look like a big group of like 1800s like coppers coming out looking to just billy club anybody who's like on the naughty list for them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did they ever say what the name of that group is? I'm trying to like look back at my notes and kind of see, because I heard him say like corporate enforcement or something like
Corpos.
that. Yeah, because like we haven't seen a.
Wasn't it Corpos? Wasn't that what they were calling them? Or something like that? I might be getting that wrong.
Because I mean, like,
I don't remember.
They had a slang for it in the show.
Have you seen a stormtrooper yet? Like, I'm trying to.
No, that's what they're trying to avoid.
Yeah,
they're trying to avoid that by what they're doing. And then this self-righteous dude that you were, Karn, Deputy Director Karn here is, or Director, Inspector, is just like so self-righteous and prideful, like this new grad straight out of officer school who's like, no, this is how it has to be. And it's completely inept when it comes to like the vagaries of how the real world is and the gray areas and how you have to compromise what you think your ethics are, whatever that may be, and more or less all in the hopes of not having the Empire come down because it's going to be even worse.
So yeah, he's an interesting character because he's super gung ho about his job, but then when it comes to actually trying to inspire people, other people to do their job, and their job is force, because you're policing this. I guess you could say it's the mining colony or the remnants of the mining colony. Or actually, no, it's
mining?
not.
It's like stripping and salvage.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking of the, it's mostly salvage. We've seen everybody do on Carrix. Is that the name of the planet they're on? Ferrix.
Yeah.
That's it. That's right. The home world of what's his name? Cassian is,
Kanari.
Kanari. Yep. That's the one where
that's the mining one. Yep.
Right, where they had the strip mine. And they finally do mention what happens there later on, towards the tail end of the episode. But they finally identify him and find out who he is later in the episode. Let me see here. I guess, do you want to move on to bullet point B or bullet point C at this point?
I want to talk about the angry boyfriend for a second.
Okay.
Go ahead. He's not so stumbly, like walking through like a sheet of glass in broad daylight, cartoonish, but he's just like getting, I kept saying this when we were watching it, I feel like he just kept getting sweatier and sweatier as he got drunker and drunker following her that night in that like angry stupor.
What's that character's name? I don't even know.
Angry boyfriend. I couldn't get his name.
Yeah.
I have him as angry BF in my notes.
That's basically
all he facilitates.
That's what. Yes. I don't remember. So in the first episode, I do remember, seeing him because that's kind of where they introduce him and Bix.
Yeah.
But
they already hint at the possible love triangle there, that he's kind of a jealous.
They had a really weird Eiffel Tower three-way, and now it's just awkward.
I said hide the Grogu.
Yeah,
she comes over to
play
play.
Hide the Grogu. Yeah, his Grogu was bigger.
What's that? Put that away. But I can't believe you just said that. So what's it called? Bix, is the female character, and they're following up on this whole love triangle going on with them. The next scene after that was where they introduced that sergeant character that turns out to be just as fanatical about doing his job.
The angry, racist, stout, fat bulldog cop.
Was it Linus? Was his name Linus or something like that?
It would be. It's got to be like Francis, Linus, something like that. That's like not super masculine, but like contributes to that like personality building of being a douche.
Yep.
Yeah, they identified, who Cassian is or where they're from, and I think they did that by tracking the ship, or I don't know. It was kind of vague how they figured this out.
Well, they were saying like it was this older class ship or some shit like that, and then they were able to track that it being that was Kanari. I don't know, from
Kanari
there,
origin or something like that,
some origin of that nature. To it kind of maybe they loosely, or I wasn't paying close enough attention, but it was because of the ship and being an older model, whatever. They were able to tie it back to that essentially.
Because when he shows up in the ship later on and he's digging around looking for the parts he's trying to fence, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
It looks like an old holocron, if you know what those look like. Where are my other smug prick Jedi Star Wars enthusiasts that can back me up on knowing what a holocron is? They show one.
Not us.
Yeah.
I was going to say the holocron is the thing. Well. You guys didn't play.
You're thinking of the Necronomicon. No.
I know, right? The holocron, so they actually use that in the game that you guys didn't play, Jedi Fallen Order.
I have installed it. I am going to play it.
I like bringing this up because it's like the one thing I have over both of you. I actually played it again recently. Amazing
you were
game.
telling
Amazing game. I beat it in like a week, maybe 2 weeks when I came back from Italy.
And here I'm starting my second playthrough of Elden Ring.
Exactly.
200 plus hours
I
in.
still haven't finished Elden Ring. I've gotten right up to the ending, and then I just, like, life took over, and I started doing other stuff.
Yeah. So
I still think it's amazing.
Basically, the premise of Jedi Fallen Order is there's a list of names of Force-sensitive children on this holocron. That's the whole premise. There's an Imperial... the second sister Inquisitors are hunting that down and are hunting you down in order to get this holocron, because then they'll have access to all the Force sensitive people that they can just either go out and turn to their side or go and destroy them.
So what was the logic of why wouldn't they just destroy it then if it was like going to give away all that information?
I think they had to find it or what?
I thought it was in his possession. Okay.
No, they had to go and get it, and so that's basically like what you're trying to do.
Okay, it's over at Kevin's house. We got to go get it before they can like.
It's a little more complicated than that.
It's not that easy. All right. So there's no character named Kevin in the. Okay.
No, not in this game.
So that's where you know it.
So that's where I've seen it. But then it also pops up. I would think in other games as well. I don't know if it ever comes up in the movies.
I was gonna say in episode 9, the whole little it's shaped like a pyramid. It's not shaped like a cube, which is how they're normally portrayed in the books and in the I forget where else, books and video games. I would say it's just a storage device. That's all it is.
Yeah.
And, it's holocron because it projects.
It's a flash drive, just a really expensive.
Really ancient. Drive. They've all been destroyed for the most part.
But the thing is, like, the Jedi are the only ones that are able to like access it somehow. I think that's why they are the way they are.
I don't remember that being the case, but I do remember the Empire going through destroying all of them as much as or as many of them as possible.
Or you need to have like Force sensitive powers or something like that. I forget what the thing is behind it.
We
should probably look up.
You have to virtue check this thing and like virtue signal.
In episode 9, they show like close-ups of it, and then that's what Kylo Ren eventually smashes when because. That's what he uses. You could see it plugged into the nav system of his TIE fighter, and that's what he's using to navigate to Exegol, where he finds the clone emperor. Sorry, spoiler alert for episode 9. But seeing that thing initially, I was like, why does it look like Darth Vader? Because it was like black and it had red on it and it kind of looked funky. I'm like, is that like a Darth Vader action figure or what is that? Or a Darth Vader transformer? He's going to like unfold it and it's like, look here, your very own exclusive, custom, limited edition Darth Vader action figure.
That's why it's worth so much.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it had the Imperial logo on it and all that.
Yep.
Okay, sorry.
So
what were you going to say?
No, I just
that's what I had to contribute.
Yeah, so that's what that's
toys.
That sounded like the speech that guy gave at the end of it. He's just like, "Let's go get them, guys."
Yeah,
that's what I felt. That's like all that speech needed at the end. But it was meant to be like that. It was meant to show his inexperience and stuff like that.
So Karn is showing himself to be seeming like he's some sort of new grad.
Yep.
Officer straight out of officer school or some sort of like probably like nepotism driven kind of way of how they end up into those roles. And he's very naive and prideful, and he thinks this is how it should be. And now he's with a group of like kind of hardened, like you have to be a piece of shit to do the stuff that I'm sure that they're doing. Other like lower ranking officers that he's trying to give this speech to. And you got to get that reflection of the people that he's with as being kind of like terrible excuses for peace officers. I mean, they're certainly not peace officers. And him being the one leading them in his own naive, prideful way.
Right.
So not really setting himself up great, but he seems to be, competent enough to find, Cass and start tracking him down. And that's who, ultimately you're seeing is going to be the big baddie that it seems like, at least at this part, that Cass is running away from while he's trying to sell that cube to, again, the super wonderful Stellan Skarsgård as he makes his way on the scene there and touches down off in the distance and is coming in to meet them. So
I got chills as soon as I heard his voice.
Oh yeah,
you don't even see his face yet.
Awesome,
dude. I didn't even put 2 and 2 together this episode that he's the buyer.
He's the buyer. Yeah, he's the one that's coming out to buy that thing. That's the character that he's playing, and I can't wait to see who that morphs into. Like who
I was going to say, what do you think? So
he's not going to be a bad guy. He's going to be a good guy.
Yeah,
got to be right.
But I saw his staff and I was really interested in his staff. You know
his
what I mean?
Walking stick. It's like it looked like he was going hiking.
I like his jacket that he didn't have his arms in the sleeves of, which was kind of interesting. I'm like, is that just draped around your shoulders like you're a fucking king?
Yeah, he's super fucking cool.
I know he does look really cool. And he's just got a great voice. Like him being in this. I could hear his voice perfectly in this Star Wars universe because it's not British or Welsh or Scottish like all the other voices they've shown so far.
Who played? I feel like an idiot now. Who played the father that was the one who designed the Death Star in Rogue One?
That was that actor is Mads Mikkelsen.
Okay. Mads Mikkelsen. Okay,
that's what I thought. All right, I was starting to get the two mixed up. I was like, hang on a second.
Right? Yeah, I know. Another great choice. But I'm trying to think of where he's from too. I'm pretty sure it's Sweden. It's probably not though. It's probably like the Czech Republic. But anyway, yeah, and I wrote down Stellan Skarsgård in the house, just because whatever he does in the show, I know it's going to be great, just because of how good of an actor he is all around.
And I hope he plays a good guy, and it's probably going to be like some sort of complex. You get that because either he's like the ruthless, terrible fucking guy, which is kind of like how he was portraying himself. It seemed like in his eyes as he's sitting on this like tram that's taking him and some other random dude who wants to just chit chat on the bus kind of thing. Kind of gave this weird impression. You couldn't tell if he was like in certain parts of his eyes, he looked like he was menacing, and in other parts it looked like he was like sincere and open and listening. And
the guy, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed, but the guy was asking him certain things, and like you see him like smirk a little bit. Yeah, so like
he was doing such a good job portraying emotion and just like his eyes. Yeah.
So, I'm excited for them to finally introduce him. I'm excited to see where they take him. But I totally missed the whole like he's the buyer.
That's
person. Okay. Yeah, I totally.
I didn't gather that either. I don't know how you got that.
Well, I mean, who else is coming in right now?
They were talking about. Bix had mentioned a couple times like. Yeah. I can't cancel whatever you have going. Cassian, coming. Like the buyer's already on his way.
Who else would he be?
And then all of a sudden they flash to him basically coming in on that ship or whatever.
And he's coming in. His droid was like, where where can we land that's safe? Yeah. And then they give coordinates. So like he's clearly not coming there just for shopping at the mall. Like he's coming there for something a little shady. If he needs to make sure it's like outside of wherever it needs to be.
Not visiting TJ Maxx.
He's not going to Sears.
So the next thing I wrote down was when they were talking about how Kanari, it sounds like the whole planet. There's that one character and that other little smaller alien character. This is when Cassian is trying to secure a transport going somewhere, and they're haggling over the price. And he's like, they're looking for a Kanari guy. Yeah. They're looking for somebody from Kanari. And he's kind of saying off the cuff. He's like, no, it's abandoned. Some sort of mining accident. Everybody's dead. And this is kind of interesting because when they show the flashbacks again, they show this ship crashing. Everything looks kind of yellow. All the people, all the crew,
they all look like they got a
yellow in the
disease.
face. Yeah, they were human, but they all have this weird.
They all had jaundice.
Yeah,
I would describe their appearance as sulfuric. If it were me, they've got kind of this chalky sulfur. Yeah.
They didn't look like they were doing well. There's not a good health plan going on for them.
Yeah, but then also like when they show wide shots of the transport that crashed, you see like this yellowish kind of gas leaking out of it too, and it's like, what the fuck happened there? Yeah. So this is kind of interesting. And then, the guy just starts shooting crazy as they're using their dart guns to
their
stop him.
Dart frog.
Yeah.
Dart guns.
I think that was my only gripe. Yeah, about the scene. It's like you have this whole crowd of people like off to the side. Aren't they supposed to be protecting her? Like they're supposed to be at the ready with the dart thing.
They're out covering on the ridgeline. And they're like, oh no, you got shot. This guy's standing up. Yeah.
Who was
they are like
completely surprised that those turned out to be dart guns instead of just...
I had no idea.
She was holding that like it was a staff she was going to hit people with.
Like it was a goddamn spear.
But...
I'm glad I wasn't the only one, because I was the exact same way. Like, what is this thing?
Yeah, and then
I didn't see the mouthpiece until after. Yeah.
Completely. And then, what is it? They zoom in on it. What is it? Cassian's mother or mother figure. I don't think they said what her name is either, did they? Oh, no, Jessie. I think that's what her name was.
Her name's Jessie?
How did you gather that?
That's what I heard. That's what I heard.
I thought they were speaking Spanish.
Jessie.
No, I'm not talking about when they're on Kanari. I'm talking about the old lady. Her name is Jessie.
I thought you were talking about the like sister figure looking chick from the flashbacks that dies. So I was like, how the fuck is her name Jessie?
I don't know.
Well, not only Bob that, not only that, there's that and Casa, right? Yeah. There's Casa and Jessie. I thought maybe they slipped those through. The two.
Sure. How about her?
The two words we understand.
How about the introduction of the mom there? Like she seems. I don't know where she's gonna like have another play-in, but she seems like she's a pretty like on the ball, hard ass. I don't know.
Yeah, she's an interesting character. They know, and now she knows that he's a wanted man.
She has to be in this more because she's she's a well-known actress. Like this,
I didn't recognize
this can't be
her.
the end of what we see as much as her in, right? Like I know she's just playing his mom. Well, I mean, what, stepmom or whatever, because he didn't have parents. Foster mom. But this can't be the end of that character because she's a phenomenal actress. Well known. That's the fun part of when they bring in big names is you're going to get them for a while. Yeah. It's not like they're just going to die off or be written off after one episode. So I'm interested to see what they do with her.
Well, that's why I'm looking forward to Stellan Skarsgård, whatever he does, good guy or bad guy, or in the middle somewhere. Just because they've already shown that Cassian is kind of a gray in the gray. He's not good. He's not certainly not good. Certainly not bad.
Ruthless, not ruthless, but just capable of doing whatever needs to be done.
Capable, yeah. And I think what is it? I hope they do something similar with Stellan Skarsgård.
I think he can play that really well. Yeah, you're right.
Where they're kind of like, this guy achieves results, but we're not exactly sure about his tactics and how he does that.
Is he going to be Empire related, do you think? Or is he going to be on his own, the rogue trader kind of style kind of thing?
Don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what to think. I don't know what to think yet. I don't think he's going to be a bad guy. I think on some level he's going to be a good guy.
His buddy on the train did say, if you can't find it here, it's not worth finding.
Which just makes it sound like there's nothing but crime rings all over the city. You find anything, body parts.
Yeah. Yep.
If they're going to a scrap world.
Yeah.
I guess the last thing that we see now at this point is that Andor's been ID'd. They know who they're looking for. They have his face and
sending in this fucking SWAT team.
Yep.
Yeah, 12 men to capture one guy. Again, a little bit excessive, but better safe than sorry.
Well, that's how they're saying they want to approach it, right? Where they're like, they don't. The one Bulldog guy's like, they don't do enough. We need to send a whole fucking unit of guys to just do this, right? Like that brute force police mentality. They really want to make sure, and they do a good job with this. I like the acting is so much better than in Kenobi on this, is they really give you that immediate initial feeling of you're not supposed to like these guys. They're assholes. They're scumbags. Like the opening speech there before the Karn starts speaking, he's like, and remember, you do what you got to do because if they don't like it, just let them know that there's a once a month forum that they can reach out to if they've got a complaint, right? Like they'll do whatever the fuck they want. Like that's their area. They chuckle at it, right?
Yep,
nothing's going to come out of that. Like they immediately set the stage. Like these are just scumbags. They do a good job of portraying everybody's kind of character, and every actor just does a phenomenal job with what little they have. Even just the presentation and the visuals of how these guys look, dirty and nitty and gritty, and they got this kind of stereotypical look of not meatheads, but just like that Bulldog a-hole cop. Like, I don't know.
The acting definitely better in this, which is a shame considering how much money it probably cost them to have Ewan McGregor in that Obi-Wan show.
His acting, he was the only thing that was good about it, right? Look, that was the when you were talking about Kenobi, that was wasn't a saving grace, but that was the only good thing about it was him.
He could not save that show.
Yeah. Even
I don't think anyone
could. I
don't think anybody could save that show.
I agree. Even he couldn't save it. Yes.
Yeah. So I think doesn't sound like either of you have a whole lot that you did not enjoy about this episode.
Just that Ridgeline thing that Mike brought up was kind of hokey.
Okay.
I did.
They were 16-year-olds, so whatever. It's not like there's some sort of super well-trained military unit.
Yeah,
I did listen to your first episode, and I do remember AJ saying he's like, I literally have to nitpick to kind of find some, and that's kind of how I feel. Like even that is like a nitpick. The blow dart scene, they're not covering the lead woman or whatever. That's like a huge nitpick. I think it's been great so far. The 2 episodes.
Totally agree.
Yeah,
the 2 episodes that I've seen,
definitely building up a lot of intrigue here, no doubt about it. Yeah. And about what to expect next, because now say they do capture Cassian. How is the buyer that showed up? How is he going to get this part that's oh so valuable to him?
Yeah.
So that's going to be kind of interesting to see. Is he going to help him? Is he not going to help him? I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll find out.
They made you real pumped up at the end there with that, him walking down, and the music blasting, and just looking like this badass rogue coming down there.
Right.
That made you I can't wait for the next episode. They kept you wanting more.
Right. And let me ask you two guys that. So now we have the buyer coming in, and it looks like Cassian's going out somewhere. He contacted those 2 people to go somewhere. What do you think? Are they meeting at some point?
That's why he was. That's why he was going to Cap and that little alien dude. Those cute little exchange between them as they're bickering like a married couple. So he's trying to set up his, out his escape route to get out of there after he does the sell.
The
and
thing.
here's the buyer.
Okay.
So that's where I was like putting together like this has to be the buyer.
Yep.
Is they're coming to meet and he's getting set up so he can get his ass out of there after the meet, right? Yep. So I don't know where they're going to meet or what's going to happen there. Will they even meet? That seems like what they're setting up, and it seems like that's what Cass is, trotting out to, looking all badasses, and music is blasting at the end.
To be determined.
It sounds like you do know some shit is going down in the third episode. Yeah. Because all parties are kind of coming. All parties that are in play are kind of coming together.
They're setting up for a big conflict. Something happening.
Why was that dropship they're on like traveling through space though? Is it because I thought they were all on the same planet?
The cops?
Yeah.
No. So it's traveling because it was a totally different world. And in the first one, then they're like, after that happens and he shoots and kills the 2 security guards, it's like, okay, now back over here on Ferrix or Fenris or whatever it was called. They do the little, what I was complaining seems esoteric, but does set you up to at least understand it's a different place.
Yeah.
Was like, now this is on Ferrix where, he actually lives and is at. So that did happen on whatever Corpo-owned whatever world, spot, place, whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
And now they're coming in like, this is where we know that this guy went because we tracked him down because of his ship.
They were just looking at the whole grid or whatever, and they're like, hey, we noticed this. Yeah, we noticed the ship got in. They didn't scan it. They didn't do anything. And that's when the guy's like, yeah, that happens all the time. He's like, whatever. And then the one dude, Karn, is just like, oh, so you like not doing your job and stuff like
Somebody
that?
Somebody else wants your seat is what he said.
But also, what was it? We forgot to mention this. Like right before or after Karn talks to the sergeant guy, that girl with the weird hair, the flat top haircut,
the mushroom cut,
Lieutenant Baldovich looking.
She
lady.
looks like one of the fucking mushrooms from the Mushroom Kingdom for fucking Mario.
I don't know.
You didn't get the Lieutenant Baldovich reference?
No,
from Venture Brothers.
Oh,
when they're on Gargantua.
Yes. They don't never show her face.
I don't know what you guys are talking about. She's gorgeous, gorgeous. The woman's gorgeous.
No, she is, but like her look is very
her
much
hair.
this character.
Yes, I totally.
Yeah. So I wonder. Again, she saw him. She knows he was looking for him. So I guess she turned him in. Or wait a minute. There's
a couple people.
The boyfriend. The jealous
called
boyfriend
in.
called in.
And they get the call and they're like, is this fake? You remember them saying, this must be fake or something like that.
But then why did they show that Lieutenant Baldovich looking lady?
Because they were bringing her in, remember?
She came in when they were showing, remember they found him. They're like, okay, his name is Cassian Andor, and it had his image.
Yeah.
And then she came walking in. She was probably going to identify him and be like, that's the guy who was asking about.
Because where were the guards before
Looking
that? This guy, Karn decided to keep investigating against his commanding officers, what he wanted to happen.
Against their orders.
Yeah, against his orders. He's going through this anyway. So where were the guards? Remember, they were at a bar drinking when they were supposed to be on duty.
Right. Okay.
Everything was falling apart there. And that's where they were. I'm sure people in the bar were able to say like, they were talking to this guy who was talking to this person, and she just is being brought in at that time.
She did seem like she was friends with, but because like when he walked in there, remember the 2 guys that he ends up killing in the first episode. Like they were like, "Hey, we were here first.
Right? We got first dibs on the prostitutes."
Like, hey,
come on.
And then she kept being like, "Yo, like you
chill out.
There's gonna be this other woman coming for you guys.
Relax. Sucky $5, 5 minutes."
So she seemed kind of like, like sympathetic towards Andor, but it's hey, we're gonna kill you. Have you seen this guy? Oh yeah, there. I saw him.
Yeah, you mean this guy who's here on the hologram right now? Yeah, that's him. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So AJ,
I totally get it.
Describe what you have done differently to make the episode better, if anything.
I mean, I don't have any true honest. There's always something that you can prove. Nothing's perfect. I would say the pacing still feels a little like it gets broken a little bit, and they did a better job this episode than the first episode because they started out with a flashback, so you could have that kind of slower pacing at the beginning. But other than that, like the flashback's a little bit of pace breaking for me. Like I was getting like energized, and then it's like, oh, flashback again. And at least this one, closer to the end of the episode, did have some action of like the shootout and the ridgeline. That again, I like like Mike said, I'm really having to struggle to find things that I'm upset with. So for the most part, I don't think there was anything that needed to be done better.
Okay.
Great acting, great writing.
Any other directions the story could have gone? Decisions the characters could have made?
Same thing we said in the first one. No, I just can't wait to see where they're going with it already. I like the story that they're setting up.
So the mystery is building.
Yes, they're doing a great job of introducing characters and making suspense with it. And making it fun to learn about them while they're doing whatever it is that they're doing.
The ones, the ones they did introduce, like I want to know more about.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Like build upon them. Like let's keep it going. One thing you do have to keep in mind though is, Kenobi was 6 episodes. This is 12 episodes, if I understand correctly, and 8 of them are available at the moment.
I don't know how many are available right now. But there's
ample opportunity for them to drag out a story.
Right. So they're going
I hope
to.
they don't.
Yeah. So I think they're going to, because they probably had like 40 hours worth of material that now they got to cut down to, or maybe even more. That they got to cut down to 12 hours or however, each episode
the soundbite for trimming the footage.
Yes.
Had to pull that one back a little.
So so I mean, like I'm okay with the pacing and stuff like that because I do understand it is 12.
It's
12
definitely a little slower.
Yes.
So, but I don't know. This episode was better than the first one. It was a little bit more watchable than the first one.
And I feel like first episodes, you always have to give them the grace of they're setting the stage. And if the acting's there and you're interested in the story that they're setting up already, then all right, give it a chance. Keep going, right? Like it took Breaking Bad until 3 seasons for everybody to be like, that's the part where it becomes great, right? Just get invested 40 hours in and then it gets great, right? So,
one thing I wanted to mention, that is funny you say that, but what is, like in Kenobi, like Kenobi was like a fishmonger. I think I brought this up when we were sitting watching it. Whereas like Andor, like he's not really doing, you don't see him doing anything.
You don't have
like,
to see his 9 to 5 before the story starts going.
Like you don't care about that either.
He's already doing hood shit by the time you come into the.
Yeah, he's already a street urchin, and he's doing street urchin things.
Yep.
Minus the curtains that are blocking all the bad guys. Yeah, it's Aladdin, but not to PG Aladdin. Yeah.
But yes, just to go back and touch on the what would we do different? I mean, it's kind of hard, because yes, I think it's been good so far, and I think the pacing is good too because you have double the amount of episodes of a Kenobi.
Knowing it in that context, I would agree. So I'm having a really hard time having many critiques.
Like I'm really nitpicking.
I'm enjoying it. They're doing a fine job.
Yeah. What about you, Luca?
I guess here's what I would say differently when we're comparing it to Kenobi, because Kenobi, we definitely tore it a new asshole.
But deservingly so. And we should be unapologetic about it. It deserves it because they could have done it like this. This contrasted even more to prove that they could have done it better. And I really hope that what Mike said earlier about how maybe they blew their wad on those 2 actors, I hope that's the case because that makes me feel better about how much of a load they blew all over our faces without us giving permission first. We used our safety word pineapple and we were not okay with it, and they did it anyways. It was terrible. And this shows you how good it could be. I wish if they had that with Kenobi, oh my God, that probably would have been my favorite Star Wars thing of all time. Just seeing more Kenobi and his own, show like that. If it was like this, oh my God, it would have been.
Yes, 100%. And I think the thing is, like, one of the things that we hated was like the little Leia piece. And she's such an integral piece in the whole freaking show. So I mean, like, it's like, okay,
you despise one of the main characters.
It's tough to kind of come back from that, comparing it to Kenobi and stuff.
That's where too much of Disney is polluting the story and the way that the story should be told for a Star Wars.
Luca's now gonna like it somehow.
Of course. I love when she does her 7-foot leg slide as a 10-year-old, looking like she's running with a big dump in her diaper. That weird, like, shuffly, like she's already had 2 children, kind of just got off a horse run.
If I may interrupt, as if it's my turn to speak.
Yes.
So, Mike, what did you
compared to Obi-Wan? So, I think the choice to take a character like Andor and make a show versus taking a character like Obi-Wan and making a show.
Yeah.
As soon as you choose somebody as well known and as developed as Obi-Wan, because this isn't Obi-Wan's first show. We've had Clone Wars. We've had how many seasons of that Clone Wars show? And then you had
there's
the 2D.
7 there. Yeah, there's 7 of that.
Right. And then you had the 2D animated Clone Wars, which was also awesome.
The miniseries.
The miniseries. That was fucking amazing.
The Samurai Jack animators.
Right.
Yes.
Gennady
Awesome.
Tartakovsky. They animated it.
Gendy's. I love Gennady Tartakovsky.
So you've taken a character that's had so much backstory, and now you've got to take the actor, the live action actor who played him in 3 very important movies. These prequels, and now you shove him back into the
Shove him back in? No. He knocked the shit out of that role. There's no shoving him back in. Well, even with the bad writing, he did an amazing job. They just had to write better, and he would have made it a legendary fucking experience.
This is to my point, because the expectations you have for the actor, for the character, for the writing, for the story, everything surrounding this character. The bar is set so high that no matter what he does in the show and how amazing it is, you're just going to be let down
disagree.
by what you see. Now, contrast someone like Andor. Andor, even in Rogue One, again, I was not impressed by his acting. I was not impressed by the character itself. You see that he's kind of a ruthless guy because, again, I keep going back to the scene where he shoots the informant, just in cold blood, just so he could save his own skin and get away. So that's a big character trait that they're showing right there. Again, he's an ends, the ends justify the means kind of character.
But again, you fight for his survival,
right? And you don't know him all that well up top. So, but that's one thing that they show you immediately that you're like, okay, wow, this is kind of interesting how he gets things done. I don't even think Han Solo would pull a move like that.
But it makes his arc all the more, thoughtful and all the more engaging and at the end gratifying when he comes to this, like, this is who he was, and anybody is capable of doing the right thing. If you want to get super hokey about it, like anybody, you could almost say is capable of doing the right thing and doing what needs to be done, and even his character, doing that ultimately in Rogue One. So I don't know, I liked that, and I couldn't disagree more about the Kenobi piece, because you could just have okay material and he still does an amazing job. He did an amazing job in Kenobi with what he had still, because he is phenomenal. They just needed to write okay. Instead, they wrote dog shit.
I think he blew it in Kenobi.
He didn't. No,
I don't think he did a good as good of a job as he did in. Oh, absolutely, he could have done better.
But that was the writing's fault. I don't think it was his fault. Look at what he had to work with. He was still this presence that you loved seeing, but it was.
But even he could have delivered shitty lines better. He did it with zero enthusiasm in some parts, which you could tell he was just like, all right,
they even made him feel bad about it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Again, that's a testament maybe to the writing.
I'm thinking in the episode when...
and the directing, too. I mean, that's ultimately why the director's there, to tell the actors, how to say stuff, and, the writing is there the same, same way. So... I agree with AJ a little bit in the sense of, he did the best he could, and they took this iconic character and
I don't think he gave his best.
Even if he didn't give his best, he was not the one at fault. That's the ultimate point of, if they had just invested in the writing more, they could have had something that everybody would have absolutely loved. And the only people that would have been on the fringes are like the super hardcore fanboys that are like, no, this didn't make sense because of, this episode 6, it's 15 minutes in of the Clone Wars. He said the opposite he would do. You would probably only have those kind of outliers if they had just if they had taken the writing team for this and used them for that. Like, I truly feel like Kenobi is so much lost potential. Yeah. You're not wrong. Everybody had high expectations. Everybody had, and I think everybody should be used to, and probably is used to, being let down with Star Wars at this point. But we were so let down with Kenobi, though. We were so let down. It was just the epic failure. It was the critical role, the D&D rolling up, a one over and over and over and over. Like, it was just critical fail after critical fail. I couldn't believe it. But Andor.
It's an excellent use of the word role, homonym. It's the role of his lifetime, but it's a D&D role. Those are two different meanings, my friend.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Anyway.
You're welcome.
Final thoughts and ratings 0 through 5. Lightsaber.
Go for it, Mike.
0 through 5. I still want to... I'm going to give this one a 4. Just because, yes, I really liked it. I mean, it's one of those things, like... it's going to be a 4 or 5, right? Like there's hard to find anything wrong. There's hard to find anything bad about it. But I still feel like I want to give it a 4 just because I still feel like they're setting something up. They're setting up the exciting part.
Right.
You know what I mean? You know, that's quite why I'm not going to give it that 5. Just, I'll be the Luca critic.
No, he's going to give it lower no, you heard the last one. He's going to give it a lower than a 4.
I know.
Did you listen to it on the whole way here?
So I got up to the part, where you guys were critiquing it and AJ was just trashing you because I think everyone gave it like high marks, and then all of a sudden you came contrarian and just was like, I want a 1.
Yeah.
Just because you wanted to push the button one time only.
Yeah.
Just were lazy and only wanted to hit the lightsaber button one time.
Contrarian.
I'll give my rating then next. I'm gonna give it 3 again. That's what I did last time.
Why? Give me a reason why this is just average or slightly above average to you. Again, why is this only slightly above average?
It's still too early to tell because I need to judge this whole. Judging it as just episode 2, having seen none of the other episodes, you're judging it out of context at this point.
Did you enjoy it? Did you like the writing? Do you like the actors so far?
This one was
better.
They're
doing a good job. Do you like the visuals?
Yeah. Again,
how about the music? Do you like the music?
The visuals are a given.
Do you like the music?
Yeah.
Did you like Stellan Skarsgård?
Just him alone being on screen. You remember the shot, the back of his head.
Did you like being the little robot?
Did I like being a robot? I've never been a robot.
No, did you like B, the robot?
Oh, B, yeah,
the robot?
EMO.
Yeah, yes. Did you like him? Cool. Did you like the foster mom? Did you like the foster mom? How many things am I going to throw out? Did you like this?
Exactly.
Did you like this?
There was not a 3 out of 5. He said that was bad.
You're just giving it a 3 out of 5 for a weird reason. Like it is a 4. It is a 4. It's not the greatest thing. It's not the greatest thing ever. By all means, totally agree.
How many times am I going to have to hit this button now for you?
It's only the second episode in, which is true, but like, I mean, you're enjoying it so far, and for being just the second episode, kind of like what Mike was saying, like, you know, they're still setting it up, like it's pretty damn good for just a second episode. Usually you're still waiting for a whole lot of establishment, and you're ready and energized, especially with that ending cinematic of like, what's the next episode coming? Like, I mean, we were all saying that right at the end. It's a 4. You give yourself a little bit, one more lightsaber there, buddy.
Anyway, I'm controlling the soundboard. I'm waiting for your rating now out of 5 lightsabers.
I think you know what it's going to be. It's a 4, and I've already hashed it over enough. It's a 4. It's a solid 4. I can't wait for the next one. Looking forward to the rest of the season. I'm sure they could maybe drag it out a little bit too much, but like. And maybe a pacing thing could happen.
I like how we just hear the lightsaber sound the entire time we're trying to.
Yes, that's what I like about it too.
Great.
I can turn it down if it's
no. You keep it exactly as it is, because to me it's like the 10-minute long intro for YMH, the theme song. I love it.
Oh man,
I know. I feel.
I can't
bad.
wait till we get ads. You got to read
Who's
ads.
sponsoring us? I'm sponsoring.
What was one brought to you by Acme Sex Toys? What were you talking about earlier?
Oh my God,
the Dragonizer.
A vibrator in the shape of a tentacle.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. Anyway, that's gonna wrap it up for us. Let me get my sounds pulled up here.
There we go.
That's what we're waiting for.
That would be me. That's the name of the episode for Andor, and this is the wrap for Star Wars Rewatch Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at Star Wars Rewatch Pod, and let's keep that going. People are now starting to tweet at me. Someone tweeted at me. They're like, "Hey, found your podcast." I'm sure it's a bot, but they're like, "I catalog all Star Wars related media," and I'm like, "This doesn't sound legit." I hope it is, but
you've been reached by the archivist.
Did they say, "Give me your social security number"?
No.
They have a check for you. They promise,
and your credit card.
Yeah, the email is at Star Wars Rewatch Podcast @gmail.com if you want to email us. I'm probably going to have to set up an Instagram or
you need a longer thing.
Reddit page.
Just keep that going the whole time.
Just keep blasting
Just cut a 4-minute version.
Otherwise, if that doesn't work, I'll play the SNES.
No, I like the cantina.
That's an intro. Yeah, the cantina is how you finish it.
I know. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, we fucked around with the sound. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you guys on the next one.
Always
hopefully
fun.
Sooner rather than later. We got a backlog of episodes we got to plow through.
We'll keep doing this on Sundays. Works for me.
Keep chasing that algorithm, boys.
There we go.
All right. Signing off.
Thank you.
What is it? Chewy. Get us out of here.
Thanks.